those who said that, disrespect Sarawak's enormous contribution to the national economic well-being and insult to Sarawakian. Sekarang macam-macam artikel keluar mengenai Sarawak. Antaranya by the so-called marine lawyer lah, former law minister lah, macam-macam. Dulu senyap saja. Apapun to our detractors, I like to point out in particular to our continental shelf, which is a subject of much discussion. The Sarawak Order in Council 1954 was made by the then British monarch, Queen Elizabeth II, pursuant to the Colonial Boundaries Act 1895. By that order, the boundaries of Sarawak were extended to include the area of continental shelf, being the seabed and the east subsoil, which lies beneath the high seas, contiguous to the territorial waters of Sarawak. Although the limit of the continental shelf was not specifically stated in that order, 1954 order, but what constitutes the continental shelf is clearly stated to be the seabed and the subsoil which lies beneath the high seas, contiguous to the territorial waters of Sarawak. Now, in 1952, the then Sarawak government issued a mining list, Sarawak to Sarawak Oilfield Limited, SOL in short form, a wholly owned subsidiary of the Royal Dutch Shell. After the 1954 order in council, by a deed made in 13 May 1956, the mining area in the said mining list was extended to cover the continental shelf, giving SOL the right to explore and mine petroleum lying or being within the area of the continental shelf. Therefore, since 1956, Sarawak had exercised rights over the exploitation and mining of petroleum in the area of the continental shelf, which is within the extended boundaries of Sarawak. Now, in 1958, the Sarawak legislature, then known as the Council Negeri, passed the Oil Mining Ordinance 1958, Caption 85, to regulate all mining in Sarawak, including the continental shelf. The Sarawak Land Code 1958 defines state land to include the foreshore and the bed of the sea within the boundaries of Sarawak as extended by the Sarawak Alteration of Boundaries Order in Council 1954. As to the limit of Sarawak continental shelf, the Geneva Convention on the Continental Shelf 1958 stipulates the term continental shelf is used as A, referring to the seabed and the subsoil of the submarine areas subject to the coast but outside the area of the territorial sea to a depth of 200 meters or beyond that limit to where the depth of the superjacent waters admits of the exploitation of the natural resources of the said areas. Jadi Geneva Convention, dia define the boundary bukan ikut distance, dia ikut the depth. Sekarang ikut distance 200 nautical mile. But the Geneva Convention, the first one to define continental shelf, maknanya dia pakai depth 200 meters down there, and dia cakap sampai kita temu minyak. That means it's more than 200 nautical mile. It can be more than 200 nautical mile. You see? Now B, to the seabed and subsoil of similar submarine areas adjacent to the coast of islands. Now, in the premises, the territory of Sarawak Yeah, territory of Sarawak includes the continental shelf beyond its territorial waters up to a depth of 200 meters or beyond that limit to where the depth of the superjacent waters allows for exploitation of the natural resources in the seabed and subsoil. 200 meter bawah sampai kita jumpa minyak. Yeah, it can be more than 200 nautical miles. That was the Geneva Convention. So, to the so-called marine lawyer, there is no issue on the continental shelf not being properly defined in the set order in council in 1954, because Geneva Convention 1958 clearly stipulated, yeah, before the other laws come in, which I will explain later. Now, the territory of Sarawak was the territory immediately before Malaysia Day, as provided by Article Bracket 3 of the Federal Constitution, contained in the Federal Constitution, Article 1 Bracket 3, includes the continental shelf outside the territorial sea as defined by Geneva Convention of the Continental Shelf 1958. Jadi Federal Constitution ada, ya. On this well-documented historical facts, that part of the continental shelf, which is within the extended boundaries of Sarawak, is part of Sarawak territory, and Sarawak had, before Malaysia Day, exercised rights to over the petroleum resources found in the continental shelf by including the area of the continental shelf within its boundary in a mining lease issued to SOL. Under the Federal Constitution, mining leases and certificates are the legislative authority of the state by virtue of item 2 bracket C in the state list 2 of the 9th schedule of the Federal Constitution. Therefore, Sarawak has the legislative and executive power, authority over the issuance of mining lease and certificate to regulate oil mining, including in the continental shelf. In fact, item 8 bracket J of list 1, federal list, in the 9th schedule read as follows. State list ada, federal list ada. Mesti isu mau lesen. Kalau tak ada lesen, nada yang boleh operate. Kan? So it's very clear. Ya? So you tengok, read as follows. 8. Trade, commerce, industry, including subject to item 2 bracket C in the state list, the development of mineral resources, mining mineral and mineral ores, oil and oil field under the mining ordinance. Ya, very clear. Siapa mau operate mesti minta lesen. Jangan sembrono saja. The Oil Mining Ordinance 1958, which provides for the powers of the issuance of prospective license, mining leases and certificate to regulate oil mining onshore and offshore Sarawak, continues to be valid as a state law by reason of Section 73 of the Malaysia Act 1963. Masuk lagi Malaysia Agreement 1963, Section 73. Therefore, the development of mines, mining, oil and oil field, which have to be subject to prospective license, mining leases and certificate must be issued under the Oil Mining Ordinance. The Proclamation of Emergency 1969 was announced by both Houses of Parliament in December 2011. Yeah? Therefore, by virtue of Article 150 bracket 7, 150 bracket 7 of the Federal Constitution, the Emergency Ordinance number 10 automatically lapsed 6 months later in June 2012. Thus, the Continental Shelf Act and the Petroleum Mining Act ceased to apply to Sarawak. The 1966, bye-bye, ceased to apply to Sarawak, because the emergency ordinance was uplifted. Yeah, ceased to apply Sarawak as from June 2012. With that, it means almost 1958 is reborn. Reborn, hidup semula mulai Jun 2012 apabila emergency ordinance was uplifted. Jadi, when the emergency essential powers ordinance number 10 was promulgated pursuant to the proclamation of emergency 1969, the old mining ordinance was not repealed. Even then, the OMO was never repealed. Even during the proclamation of emergency, dia lupa. 1969. Ya, jadi although the concept 1966 petroleum mining airship was extended to Sarawak, OMO was never repealed during the emergency period. During this period of emergency, the federal government requested the state government to assign the mining list issued to SOL in 1952 to the federal government by a deed of assignment dated 18 March 1971, the deed. In the recital of the deed of assignment, ya, federal minta kita assign all the mining list issued to the petrol guys who operate in Sarawak, ya, to be assigned to them. 1971, ya, assignment of all this mining list. Tapi in the recital to the deed of assignment in 1971, the rights of the state issued to issue the mining list and the mining area included continental shelf were acknowledged by parties to that dish, which include the federal government.
Muhammad Satok, if I can interject.
Okay, so I will
on that very point you were saying.
Okay, I'll do it quickly.
It means that from all your submission so far,
yeah,
the sovereign right to our natural resources is indigenous to Sarawak, yeah, be it under whatever, yeah. So in other words, the acts of parliament or whatever, proclamation order under the emergency and things like that, still is what do you call that, did not remove the sovereign right of Sarawak to its natural resources, which include those in the continental shelf. Do you agree?
Yes, I agree. I do agree. So long as not being repealed, our right is still there. It was never repealed. Of course, during the emergency, the laws accept into our law, but there's nothing much we can do. Period of emergency.
And on that one,
yeah,
no one in Sarawak has given up that right.
No.
Be it Tun Rahman or anybody. No. Nobody has the legal right to surrender our sovereign right to our natural resources.
Nobody has the right.
Correct, no?
Yes. If you do surrender, then you are arbitrator. Yeah. But subject to the federal law, of course, Malaysian law. Yeah. And it is within the ambit of the 1963. Yeah. The Cobalt Commission and the IGC. No issue. Yeah. But if we were to consent, this do, Mr. Consent, this August House, there's no issue. Other than that, if you do that alone, I'm sorry to say. Yeah.
Point also, Yamaha, because this is a very interesting point that you are raising. Interests of Sarawak actually, of uppermost. There's no law, yeah? There's no law that Sarawak had legislated to surrender its right to the federal or whatever.
No.
Right?
Yes. As far as the August House is concerned, there's none, I think, at the moment. None. Zero. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir, for the clarification. In Malaysia, Datuk Sri, Datuk Speaker, sir, in Malaysia, the continental shelf is defined by the Continental Shelf Amendment Act 2009. As follows. Continental shelf means the seabed, subsoil of the submarine areas that extend beyond the territorial sea. A. Throughout the natural prolongation of the land territory of Malaysia to the outer edge of the continental margin as determined in accordance with Section 2B. Or B. to a distance of 200 nautical miles from the baseline, from which the breadth of the territorial sea is measured in accordance with the baseline of Maritime Zone Act 2006, Act 660, where the outer edge of the continental margin does not extend to that distance. Jadi 2009 Malaysia buat satu undang-undang, kita buat undang, ya, defining the continental shelf. 2009 tak pakai depth lagi, dia pakai distance 200 nautical mile, which we believe we are sticking to it. Not 3 nautical mile, but 200 nautical mile. Yes, but shall not. All this shall not affect the territory of the states, or the limits of the territorial waters of the states, and the rights and powers of the state authorities therein. Therefore, the rights of Sarawak to regulate petroleum mining in the continental shelf, which has been exercised before Malaysia Day, are not affected or prejudiced by Malaysia's claim to sovereignty over the continental shelf under UNCLOS, United Nations Law of the Sea, as what has been contended by this so-called marine lawyer. Sarawak will continue to exercise its constitutional authority under Item 2(c) of the state list to regulate petroleum mining in the continental shelf by the issuance of exploration license and mining leases or certificate pursuant to its oil mining ordinance. Although Section 2 of the Petroleum Development Act, PDA 74, purports to vest petroleum in Petronas via by a vesting order prescribed in the first schedule, thereto the PDA did not repeal the oil mining ordinance, none, and did not exempt Petronas complying with constitutionally valid state law. The only law that Petronas is exempted from complying with is the Petroleum Mining Act 1966. You can look at Section 8 of the PDA 1974. If Parliament then had intended Petronas to be exempted from any other laws, whether state or federal, in regard to its upstream businesses or activities, Parliament would have spelled out such exemption in PDA. Therefore, the PDA and the Sarawak Oil Mining Ordinance must coexist. PDA and OMO must coexist, and both legislation, of course, must be complied with. Okay? Sarawak is not making unreasonable or baseless claim to the oil and gas resources in the seabed and subsoil of the continental shelf. Sarawak expect all parties undertaking the prospecting, exploration, mining of petroleum both onshore and offshore Sarawak to respect its laws and the federal constitution, which confers on Sarawak the right to issue prospecting license, mining license, certificates for mining of petroleum both onshore and in the continental shelf. Yeah. The Oil Mining Ordinance is a legislation which is within the legislative competence of the Sarawak legislature to enact. This ordinance remains valid and in force and has not been repealed. Whoever operates in Sarawak must, as I said earlier, must comply with all the relevant state laws as Oil Mining Ordinance or more, and the Distribution of Gas Ordinance 2016, Caption 72. At the same time, Sir, Speaker, Sir, I would like to also comment on an article written by a former law minister, my friend, Zaid Ibrahim, quoting the Batu Putih ruling, and said it will affect our claim relating to our rights over the continental shelf. While he is entitled to his opinion, our position is very clear. That is, Sarawak rights over the continental shelf is not a dispute between two sovereign states, as in the Batu Putih case, and therefore the principle of international laws cannot apply. Correct, sir?
Since you asked me, I would be obliged to put a point too. I think the federal government, being the what I call the representative of Malaysia,
Yeah.
vis-a-vis all the international treaties, is entrusted to safeguard all interests of Malaysian or component states, including interests of Sarawak.
Yes.
So as far as domestically, they should be bound by domestic law.
Yes, yes.
Within us, within Malaysia.
Yes,
But
yes.
outside Malaysia, against other nations, worldwide, they are entrusted. They are, what do you call that? They are holding a trust, to uphold the interest, whatever interest.
Yes.
Do you agree?
I agree. I concur to that, sir. 100%, 101%. This issue relating to whether state rights are affected by Malaysia's claim to sovereignty under international law over the continental shelf should be decided based on domestic laws, including the Federal Constitution, not the international law, Batu Putih. It does not apply in our case here. In any event, Sarawak never relinquished rights over the seabed and the subsoil forming the continental shelf. These areas are state land. The state even has declared a marine park over some of the areas offshore Sarawak. Nobody contests that. The right of Sarawak government to see that its laws are complied with should not be questioned by any quarters. There must not be any encroachment on Sarawak rights, and legislative authorities expressly enshrined in the Federal Constitution. Yes, Sarawak has contributed enormously to the national economic well-being as far as the oil and gas sector is concerned since the coming into force of the PDA. Those detractors who said that Sarawak does not want to honor the cash payment, including one, the former leader, former finance minister. He said that we don't want to honor the cash payment. Those who said that, disrespect Sarawak's enormous contribution to the national economic well-being and insult to Sarawakian.